He was kind of like, no, I can't take it. You have to come to my games. You have to be my practice. When Scottie and I first got together, like I had just signed to ICM in LA.
Fame has a price. And for Larsa Pippen, that price came wrapped in diamonds, whispers, and headlines. For years, her name was known as one half of a basketball power couple, the wife of NBA legend Scottie Pippen. But behind the designer sunglasses and glamorous photo shoots was a story much more complicated, a story of love, betrayal, and reinvention. Larsa wasn't just another celebrity wife. She was ambition in high heels, confident, outspoken, and always in control of her image. She lived a life that seemed perfect. Luxury cars, lavish trips, a famous husband, and a home filled with everything money could buy. But what no one saw was how quickly perfection can crack when the spotlight never turns off. Born in Chicago in 1974, Larsa Pippen had dreams far bigger than the city she grew up in. Her beauty and charisma opened doors early, modeling gigs, television appearances, and connections to the rich and powerful. But her life changed forever when she met Scottie Pippen, a man whose name was already etched into basketball history. To the world, they looked untouchable. The NBA star and the stunning wife, a picture-perfect match made for magazine covers. They married in 1997 and soon became fixtures in the world of sports royalty. Together, they raised 4 children and built a brand around success, luxury, and family. But behind the scenes, cracks began to form. Fame has a way of amplifying everything: the love, the tension, and the distance. As Scottie's career slowed down, Larsa's hunger for her own spotlight only grew stronger. She stepped into the world of reality television, joining the Real Housewives of Miami. Suddenly, the world wasn't just watching Scottie, they were watching Larsa. She wasn't the quiet wife anymore. She was outspoken, glamorous, and unafraid to speak her truth. But with attention comes controversy. And soon, Larsa Pippen's name will become synonymous with one word: drama. When her marriage began to crumble, the tabloids circled like sharks. Stories of infidelity, separation, and tension fill the headlines. After more than 2 decades together, the couple's fairy tale was over. Their divorce in 2021 marked the end of an era, but for Larsa, it was also the beginning of something new and something far more controversial. Because while most people retreat from the public eye after a public breakup, Larsa did the opposite. She leaned into it. Her friendship with the Kardashian family put her in the center of pop culture's brightest and most dangerous circle. Once best friends with Kim Kardashian, she was seen at the most exclusive parties, traveling the world, living life like an influencer before the word truly existed. But the friendship didn't last. Rumors of betrayal and tension began to swirl. Suddenly, Larsa found herself on the outside of a world she helped shape. When the Kardashians unfollowed her, fans noticed. When she spoke out about Kanye West and the family's private issues, the internet exploded. For the first time, she wasn't just a reality star or an ex-wife, she was a public target. But instead of disappearing, Larsa turned the backlash into fuel. She started her own brand, became an entrepreneur, and used her social media presence to rebuild her identity. Not as Scottie's ex-wife, not as Kim's friend, but as Larsa Pippen.
I hung out with him a couple times. It wasn't like...
Still, her story was far from quiet. In 2020, photos surfaced of Larsa holding hands with NBA player Malik Beasley, a man nearly 20 years her junior, and married at the time. The internet went into chaos. She was called names, criticized endlessly, and dragged across tabloids. But Larsa remained composed, insisting that the truth was more complicated than what people saw in a single photograph. For her, the story was about connection, not scandal. But for the public, it was another headline, another reason to talk. And then came perhaps the most shocking twist of all. In 2022, Larsa was seen dating Marcus Jordan, the son of NBA legend Michael Jordan, Scottie's former teammate and longtime rival. The pairing sent shockwaves through both sports and entertainment. Fans couldn't believe it. The woman once married to Scottie Pippen was now romantically involved with Michael Jordan's son, a plotline so surreal it felt written for television. Every outing, every photo, every social media post was dissected. Some called it love, others called it revenge. But to Larsa, it was simple. She was finally living life on her own terms, free from judgment, free from labels. And yet, judgment never really leaves. For every supporter, there were 1,000 critics. The internet mocked her, painted her as a gold digger, an opportunist, a fame chaser. But behind the glamour and controversy is something most people overlook. A woman who has spent her entire adult life being defined by the men around her, trying to reclaim her name. When she joined the Real Housewives of Miami again in 2021, it was clear Larsa wasn't running from her story. She was owning it. She spoke openly about her relationships, her family, her pain. She turned her narrative into power. Love her or hate her, she became something few reality stars ever do: unforgettable. Because beneath the headlines lies something real. A woman who's been broken, judged, and misunderstood, but never silenced. A mother who continues to raise her children with strength, despite the chaos around her. A survivor who knows that sometimes rebuilding your life means starting over in front of everyone. Larsa Pippen's story is messy. It's complicated. It's human. From the basketball courts of Chicago to the luxury streets of Miami, she has lived a life of extremes: love and loss, loyalty and betrayal, fame and isolation. And through it all, she has done what few people in her position could do. She stayed visible, vulnerable, and unfiltered. In a world that's quick to judge, she became a reminder that not every story is black and white. Maybe Larsa Pippen isn't the villain the headlines made her out to be. Maybe she's simply a woman who refused to let her past define her future. Because behind every headline, there's a heartbeat. Behind every scandal, there's a soul. And behind every rumor, there's a truth only the person living it will ever fully understand. Larsa Pippen's story isn't about scandal, it's about survival. It's about finding yourself after the world has already decided who you are. And if there's one thing her journey proves, it's that power doesn't always come from being loved. Sometimes, it comes from being unapologetically yourself, even when the world refuses to understand you. This is the story of Larsa Pippen, the woman behind the fame, the fire, and the controversy. And love her or not, you can't deny it. She made the world watch.